We are on a day out with the Evesham Over 45's Meetup Group. We are gathering here next to Elgar's statue, then having a wander around the town, looking at the various places of interest. You may ask, why there are clotheslines with coloured umbrellas hanging between the buildings? The answer is, no idea. But they do look colourful. This is our first stop, Grayfriars House, which is owned by the National Trust, and here are two Evesham Over 45ers waiting for us. Situated at the heart of Worcester's historic centre, Grayfriars House and Garden makes the perfect location for a group visit, whether you are visiting Worcester for the week, the day, or just passing through. Grayfriars provides an intimate glimpse into the tumultuous history of the building and the people who lived and worked at here over the centuries. Grayfriars was built around 1480 by a wealthy merchant and was a home to wealthy families until the late 17th century. In 1699, a baker purchased the lease and divided the house into two. It then became a mixture of homes, shops, and businesses for the next 200 years. Grayfriars is a beautiful timber-framed building built for a successful local merchant around 1480. It features superb panelled rooms, furnished with tapestries and period furniture. Behind the house is a lovely walled garden with wonderful colour in spring and autumn. Grayfriars was scheduled to be destroyed following World War II, but it was rescued from demolition and restored to provide a wonderful glimpse into the world of a 15th century merchant and his family. You might assume that Grayfriars had some link to the Franciscan order, but you'd be wrong. Like Friar Street itself, the building takes its name from the medieval friary that stood nearby, but has no actual monastic link. The house was built for Thomas Green, a brewer and High Bailiff of Worcester. The north wing was extended in the Tudor period, and a large Jacobean staircase inserted in the early 17th century. Grayfriars, as we see it today, is really the work of two people, the brother and sister team of Malcolm and Elsie Matley Moore, who offered to take over the restoration of the house on the condition that they were allowed to live in it. The Matley Moores were avid collectors of historic furniture and fittings. They snapped up bits and pieces from historic buildings wherever they could find them. From car boot sales to antique fairs, they searched the country for pieces of furniture and memorabilia that would fit the period feel of the house. Here we are at Tudor House, a small but perfectly formed independent museum. Over the centuries, Tudor House has been a home and a workshop for weaver clothiers, carpenters, a baker, and a 17th century solicitor's widow, to name just a few. Some of the weaver clothiers who lived here brewed ale as a sideline, and for about 500 years, part of the building was used for brewing. It was known as the Cross Keys Tavern from at least the 1700s. Later uses of the house included a hairdresser's and a chip shop. In 1921, it was purchased by the Worcester Corporation and started its life as a school clinic and dentists. During the Second World War, the building was used as an air raid warden's post and billeting office. During the 1970s, it became the Museum of Local Life until its closure in 2003. It remained closed until May 2004, when it was reopened as the Tudor House Museum.
Mist. Spot on my nose.
This is the Guildhall. You will have noticed the twin statues of Charles I and Charles II, either side of the entrance. Worcester remained faithful to Charles and his son throughout the English Civil War. It is therefore known as the Faithful City. The Guildhall is a truly beautiful building, which dates back to 1721. It was once the seat of justice throughout the city, and even housed a prison, and today offers members of the public a glimpse of Worcester's rich and varied heritage. The Guildhall is a visitor attraction in the centre of the historic city, and is free to enter. It is home to the Council Chamber, the city's former courtrooms, and the Mayor's Parlour. Situated on the High Street, the Guildhall boasts the remarkable Assembly Room, described by King George III as a handsome gallery when he visited in 1788. You can retrace footsteps to admire this space's Italianate ceiling and many striking portraits of royalty and former mayors. We hope that you have enjoyed this walk around the faithful city. There are plenty more things to see and do, but that is all for now.